Hey everyone, it's Timid. I'm back with another episode of Road to 1K, and today we are going to be taking on this Tier 2 High Funds match on Crimson Canals again, actually, versus Commander Wolf, who's going to be playing Drake. So, my first run of this map, well, it's on the channel. You can go back, I think it's episode 12 or so of this season. Let me double check real quick. But basically, I got caught off guard because I didn't know how to play this map. Well, I didn't know what the gimmick was with the APCs and the transports and being able to just move in and sneakily take the harbor, which... And also I underestimated drastically just how durable battleships are, because battleships are like insanely tanky, like especially if they stay in the harbor. But even if they aren't in the harbor, they have even just a little bit of extra defense, it becomes super difficult to deal with. Like, actually, I'll just take a look at the damage charge real quick. Like, so where is my battle sheet? There it is. So as you can see here, like 75 from bombers do a good amount. But basically everything else doesn't really do all that much. So there isn't like a hard counter or anything. Now, to be fair, like tank and it does about like subs do about as much to battleships as tanks do in one-on-one combats. So subs are decent, rockets are decent. The only issue, right, is subs don't exactly have the highest move. They only have like 4 or 5 move. I think it's 5. So it's kind of difficult, and they're pretty easy to cut off as well. And they die in one shot to cruisers. Cruisers just kill them outright. So basically, it's a trade. In order to take out a battleship with subs, you need 2 subs to take it out. Your opponent can pretty easily just guard for battleship with a cruiser, and then in retaliation, you just lose out on the subs. And it's naval warfare in this game isn't exactly, well, I mean it's decently balanced, I guess, because you can just use bombers to get around it, to get around the little damage on basically everything, and trying to zone out a battleship is difficult too, because they have 1 to 6 range. They do a shitload of damage to basically everything across the board, as you can see all these numbers. Like the only thing that's kind of low is 50 against other battleships. I guess 55 on medium tanks, or on like the heavier tanks, but you don't really need to do that much damage to the... Like, battleships are mainly going to end up... Like, what you can do with battleships really easily is just have them fire at any light vehicles, any naval units. Like, they can just eviscerate infantry, and that'll help you insanely well with the capture game, especially considering on a map like this. Well, maybe not necessarily this, because the canals aren't that wide. But if you have a good like battleship block going, which you can afford to do on high funds like this, and as you saw in the last match against Seraphesk, if he had a really good battleship block going on here, and because it's high funds and it's decently, like, the airports are going to be decently far away from the action here for battleships and everything, like, they can get a bit annoying. I think that's part of why, like, the battleship specifically, like, on a naval map like this where you have decent, like, even something's decently small, because, like, you could just have a battleship here, and then it just covers all of this territory, like, all of this, like, you can get it to cover the comm tower pretty easily, even from just this harbor, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so you're covering this property, not quite this property, but around a little bit, you get pretty close. But you're definitely covering this property, so you're covering a comm tower in 2 cities from, like, there. And you can zone out a lot of stuff really, really easily, especially if this is the main area of engagement. And then also if you do what Seraphesk did and manage to get a sneaky battleship to like around here, you can get pretty close to zoning out your opponent's bases even, especially like the harbor as well. So yeah, you have to be very, very cognizant of how you're going to be doing damage to battleships and stuff like that, basically. Bombers are always a good idea, but then you run into the bomber thing. And against someone like Drake, bombers aren't even necessarily that good, because you can get them. Let's say you get a bomber. Well, the bombers do move pretty quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But let's say move the bomber 2 or 3 turns. Drake just pops his superpower or even his little power. It loses half its fuel and then it just crashes if you don't have an APC or a black boat nearby. And if you're trying to get through a blockade of battleships, that can be tough to do. So battleships, again, are like super difficult to deal with. That's part of why Sturm, I think, has like a 63% win rate on this map. Because he has that extra defense. Same with Convoy. Like, I think if I could have easily won the last time I did this if I played properly with Convoy, but I hadn't played under that before, so. Because you can just power through everything with Convoy. But the good thing that Seraphesk had going for him was that Hawk did have the Hawk does a shitload of damage to Convoy anyways. Is top tier? Yeah, Convoy is still allowed in top tier right now, so for high funds. And this is the current Global League setting, so there is that. Interesting that Convoy's unbanned. But yeah, as you saw, if you saw the last one, I was able to do a ton of damage with Convoy day to day. It's just because I wasn't able to deal with the I wasn't prepared for the battleships over here. I had to send in a bunch of resources to deal with this, and then that gave him enough time to pop his Black Storm and then just wipe me, basically. So that is something that you have to be leery of, is if the battleships on, especially on any like high funds naval map where there's a decent amount of water, that your opponent can just start creating just a blockade of battleships, basically. Let's see, how much is Drake? Drake is actually at 57%, so 57 to 63. I feel like Drake overall, because Drake has the same defense on his he has the same defense as Sturm does for his naval units. He just doesn't have the firepower decrease. So I feel like Drake is actually a really, really solid pick on this map, especially considering like it's very naval heavy, and then his superpower basically neuters enemy bombers, which is also super, super important. Well, it can neuter them if they aren't prepared or if they don't have like. It basically forces them to build a black boat or like a APC or something, and then just refuel that way. But anyways, yeah, I mainly picked Sturm. I'm not exactly the best at using Sturm because I don't use him that much, and well, I mean his power is sort of just press a button. The thing that I always do messing up with Sturm wise is I go for the little power, which his little power just sucks. Like, there's no point to doing it. Just go for the big one, get big damage on your opponent's expensive units. Basically, because the difference between Sturm's little power and his big power is like insane. It's yeah, it's 4 damage as opposed to 8 damage, so it's twice the amount of damage. And it's based on your opponent's greatest accumulation of value. So if your opponent has one of those blocks of, say, battleships or something, you can just pop in a meteor strike and then it's game over, more or less. But yeah, that should be basically the preamble for like the tier 2 type stuff for high funds. Let's just get on with the actual replay here. Grit is banned because, well, battleship things, but it's heavy naval, so Grit's obviously banned. Otherwise, I probably would have picked him because he kind of just pops off on naval maps because he has 7 range freaking battleships. He's got... He basically covers half the map with his carriers, so you can't even do much with against them with like bombers and stuff. So it is very annoying to try and break through a grid blockade, right? I've done it before, I think, but it's very tricky. You basically have to build up enough units to overwhelm his indirects, and then just hope that you can basically get through everything, and then that you don't get taken down, basically. Like, you are expecting to lose a couple of units, but then you have to basically have enough built up that you can withstand the losses and then take them out on the next turn. Or you could just play Eagle or Lightning Strike. That's always an option too. As you can see here, I've got the comm tower down here a little bit earlier than my opponent, but he's going to be able to get to it pretty quickly as well. The other comm towers in the center here, so those are going to be a bit of a priority. I do have stuff in range to sort of do the APC thing, but my opponent is actually ready for it, so he's got an artillery and a rockets ready. To try and prevent the capture before I even get that off. Because once I capture this, it's going to be pretty tough for him to actually, like, it's going to be pretty tough for him to dislodge me from that, so that's part of why we're doing that. I mean, I've got artillery ready here as well, so he doesn't even try to do it, basically. And... oh, that's the other thing about this map. It's very choke point heavy. Like, there's a choke point here, there's a choke point here, there's a choke point here. That's why Grit's kind of busted on it. Artillery is also crazy good. That's the other reason why Grit's banned on heavy naval maps, or at least move a tier up, because his artillery are actually serviceable in naval battles, whereas they're kind of meh otherwise. So as you can see here, I'm taking out the APC there. I'm going to probably try and open this up so I can start working to capture this harbor here. I am going to try and cap here, partially because it'll draw fire away from the rockets, so I'm able to do a little bit with my tank here, but honestly I should have been doing rockets of my own or artillery or something here, because this is such a heavy choke point that, like, I need something to keep everything together, basically. Yeah, now he's got his artillery in range, so there's not much of a point for me to keep my infantry there, basically, at this point. He's got the tank there guarding the comm tower, which is very annoying because it's basically stopping me from getting up to normal firepower with Sturm, whereas on a map like this, well, if he were playing against anyone other than Sturm, having the two comm towers would be amazing for Drake here, because it would allow him to wall break and everything, but since I'm playing Sturm, that doesn't really matter. So I take a couple of chunks out of that black boat, but, like, it's Sturm stuff, so, like, not exactly the best thing here. And then he's got this guy here, so honestly not the best engagement for me right now there, but I kind of wanted to make it so that his tank wasn't really doing much to my infantry here. And then I just go for more tanks, which honestly at this point I should probably be saving up for, like, medium tanks or something, but whatever. Unit count's getting to him. Like, as you can see, he didn't really do much in retaliation there against my one tank. Like, he's getting more done with his infantry here, but that's fine by me as well, because he's weakening his infantry, so we're not going to be able to really do much to cap stuff. Now, let's see what I did with my tank here. Tanks. Because they are both weakened, so... and then there's more tanks just tank chaining into the city here. So I feel like I kind of need to back off with them. I go to interrupt that cap with my tank, which is honestly... like, the thing that I always do with Sturm tanks is I overestimate their durability, and I just charge in like that with them. Which it's decent for getting rid of unit count, I guess, but overall not really necessarily the best option here. Okay, so I break open this. I break open the type team there so that I can get stuff through here either way, so I can have a bit more flexibility in how I want to move my units about. As you can see, we're sort of both battlecopter spamming a little bit. Which Sturm's battlecopters aren't exactly that great, honestly. Yeah, I should have probably just gone straight back this way and then covered my retreat with the infantry, because Sturm infantry can actually just like wall off this area pretty effectively. So what I could have done would be like go there, and then I have my infantry just cut off the tank there. Well, even with that, yeah, with the 9 health tank, I could have done that still. And then I would have had 2 more tanks to play around with. Even though, yeah, I could have had 2 more tanks to play around with. They could have gone here for repairs, and then I could have sent them into the center, or they could have done war stuff, basically, rather than just getting wiped out. Because that's the whole point of Sturm, is like you... Yeah, because the repairs here aren't like super effective. Yeah, so I block off his black boat there, and also the tanks so that they can't move in against my artillery. Then I grab this lab, mainly just so that I have an extra control point. I don't think it's going to end up mattering all that much, but like what you could do is just rush up this way and grab this lab, and then you got both labs contested. If you can manage to do this and this, and then you don't have to worry about fighting in this center here at all. Usually you sort of need to win both of these harbor areas though first to make that effective. So yeah, my opponent's going to be able to get into this harbor here now, so it's just a matter of time before he's able to start pumping out like battleships and stuff from here. I could have maybe held him off for a bit longer if I had just well, I go for the attack with the battlecopter there. I know that it's going to get taken out by the anti-air, but I still want to sort of try and zone out this guy there. I should have probably gotten... See, this is where if I had gone for artillery instead of the tanks here, I would have been able to zone this out a little bit more effectively. Not like super crazy effectively, because he's still got rockets in this area. So I should have probably gotten like a rockets. And then like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2... Yeah, in like 2 or 3 turns, it would be in position here to just zone out this entire area, and that would have been way more effective than trying to do this with tanks. So like, for the price of these 2 tanks plus an infantry, I could have gotten the rockets, and that would have been way better. I do have a battleship finally that I can just start sending up this way, and that'll be important. I think it'll end up being pretty important. And I keep on showing his black boat there with my artillery here as well. Yeah, so stuff keeps on moving on, and he takes out my battlecopter, obviously. I did manage to hold them off for like an extra turn there, but yeah, all of my tanks in this area have been completely wiped out, unfortunately. So yeah, I should have definitely sent them back this way. So that would have made it... That would have allowed me to just keep a hold of them, and then I could have brought in like a medium tank maybe, or even the Neo tank now. I think I need the Neo tank... I forget what I do with it. I think I started sending it north. But yeah, I definitely wanted it to deal with the tanks here, There's a lot of stuff that I sort of need to just start shipping down, right? And he's about to get his superpower, so I just go ahead and pop my power. At this point, 61, 59. So as you can see here, I'm doing a little bit worse than my opponent. As you can see, definitely in unit count, definitely in overall value. I am ahead in income for the time being, but that's not going to last all that much longer, especially since he's going to be able to start chipping me down in this area. So I just go for the meteor strike there, which, like, look at how little it did. I should have just waited. Then I would have been able to just take out the mega tank for basically free. But whatever. This did allow me to get a little bit of extra firepower, which allowed me to push into this area a little bit, which was helpful. Because it did allow me to at least get rid of some of the artillery presence here. Pretty sure I'll be able to. Well, he's got 2 tanks back here, so I don't think it matters too much. But since the anti-air is dead, the battlecopters basically are safe, which is the main point of why I did this, I think. So I wanted that extra little bit of firepower there to basically make it so that my battlecopters were safe, and I had control of the air in this area, or at least if it's a little bit longer. I've got the anti-air moving in here to sort of deal with this battlecopter. I'm also moving in my infantry here, so that he is forced to deal with protect this comm tower one way or another. And then I also go for I get a second battleship, and then I've also got missiles here so that I can zone out any battlecopters that would try to attack my my battleships in this strait here. Not that it's like too effective for him to do so, but whatever. I mean, I just hide my infantry in the corner here for the time being. So yeah, it pops the Typhoon, and that's like, look at how much. Look at this, 226 to 180. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, 40k gone in the snap of his fingers, right? So that's like a turn of income that he just deletes completely. And I know I got a good amount of damage down here, but it would have been even better if I had a meteor strike ready to go. And like his mega tank's basically already repaired as well, so there wasn't that much point in as far as like I didn't get that much value out of my meteor strike, but I was able to get a decent push here, I guess. Keep my battlecopters around for a little bit longer, which is also important. So I don't know if it was like the best move in the world, but yeah, I think it ended up working out. The other thing that's really annoying about this is like this guy's already running out of fuel. Like it's at 38 fuel already, and it hasn't even fired a shot yet. It's in position to like deal with this to an extent, but anyways, so I'm able to keep hold of this area more or less. I've got infantry sort of ready to start moving into this area. Like I'm pretty sure I can cap this property, but right now I'm behind in income, which is unfortunate, and he's starting to take control of this corner as well, which is not good for me. Not good at all. So now I've got a medium tank, which I'm going to be sending to deal with this basically, even though it's sort of too late to deal with it. He charges in with his battlecopter, and even against the weakened Stern battlecopter, it only does like 5 damage work, which is pretty nice. Oh, it's because of Drake also has crappy area attack. That's right. So he basically just has normal attack into Sturm's 20% defense battlecopters, which makes Sturm's battlecopters are usually not that great, but against Drake, right, they actually can pack a punch because they have the longevity to deal with his battlecopters. Will you shut up? Oh my god. Okay, I'm just gonna skip that turn. So why not? But basically, he's got a battleship ready here. It's in port, which means it's gonna be really difficult for me to actually break through here, especially with like weakened Sturm battleships. So at this point, I kind of just gotta fall back with my battleship, keep control of this area with them, and then basically make it so that he can't really move in with his indirects down this way. So yeah, I just move in. There was no real point for me going in like that against the battleship with the tank. But I do get a decent amount of chip against his rockets still with my battlecopter. Against his battlecopter, I'm able to basically take it out. See, I'm able to like do a good amount of stuff here at least. So I've taken out most of his pushing units in this area, so that's decent at least. I've got missiles here, so I've got this area completely protected from his area, and it's not that they do much damage anyways. I forget when I attacked this turn. Maybe it was like the anti-air or something. But yeah, I should definitely have not left this guy in battleship range of my opponent, but well. It's because he just has so many things to attack, right? So he takes out basically half of my battleship there, which sucks, but it's not the end of the world. As you can see here, though, I do actually have, like, a ton of unit count at this point. I'm not sure how I got my unit count this high compared to my opponent. But I've got, like, an extra 10 units here. So he pops Tsunami, which is just so freaking irritating. Basically neuters my Blackfoot, actually. So he's basically sunk my Blackfoot like that with a double tap of his powers. That's part of why Drake Tsunami is actually pretty solid, because you can just pop it to finish off the fuel for like naval and air units. As you can see here, like I have 18 fuel left on my freaking Neo tank as well, which is like, oh come on. But I've got a submarine ready to move in here, so that basically if he tries to push in with his battleship, I can take it out. If he moves it off of the port, more or less. I start capping this port. I start capping that, even though it's there's the mega tank here that I sort of need to deal with, and I'm getting pretty close to my next meters to strike as well, which is important here. Yeah, as you can see here, I've got 42 unit count, and this is where my opponent effectively resigned. So I'm not sure. Well, I mean, I guess it was annoying. It was kind of annoying to try and fight through Sturm's defenses, but like at this point, let's see. He could have flipped this. Like as you can see here, he's still got a massive just income lead. The only issue for him is that it's kind of annoying for him to take out my units. I've got this guy ready to get the harbor here, so in a little bit I'll be able to start pushing out this way with my naval units. I've got artillery here to sort of deal with a mega tank, and I've got rockets as well, I guess. So I've got plenty of stuff to sort of just start indirect zoning him out a bit, because at this point I've sort of figured out, got into the swing of how to use Sturm properly. So, but yeah, if he wanted to, he could easily just wipe me out here, I think. Let me double check, because he's got this guy who can attack into there, so that's, let's say 7, but I'm pretty sure, like, yeah. So he could take out this guy's gone. Neo tank should be able to, yeah, Neo tank should be able to wipe out the infantry there as well if he needed to. So he's got plenty of ways to keep me from taking that comm tower, basically. Just a matter of how he wants to do it. This guy's going to go down next turn anyways. And then a lot of these units he can just sort of wipe up. I do have artillery in range to sort of chip at him a bit, but like, I feel like overall he has the advantage here. Like for sure, definitely 100%. Now, I'm going to be able to start pushing into this area a little bit with my single battleship. Like this guy is going to be fine because battleships don't take that much fuel, so I've got the APC here for that. I've got the sub here, which I'll probably just have ready to push in this way. Like if I needed to, like the good thing about the sub actually that I can do with it is just slowly move it up this way. I can once I get it to around there, 1, 2, 3, 4, probably like that tile. I can dive down and then I can deal with the battleship that way. And because I have this battleship here zoning out his battleship, like he can't move in without taking a decent amount of damage. Like, let's see. If he moves out of there, to be honest, it's only like 30-40% anyways, so I don't know if there's that much of an issue. Let's go to move planner, actually. So if we get the Sturm missile, which I'm going to be going for, right? So it'll wipe out his battleship for sure, probably. Depending on where he moves his unit, like he can move it like that. Yeah, but it should basically go for this battleship here. He could maybe try and divert it to up here if he built like a mega tank up here or something. And yeah, he definitely has the money to afford that if he wanted to. And that would be decent because he doesn't really need this battleship after he takes out this. If he has another mega tank, like, sure, it'll be at 2 health to start out. Well, I guess 4 health to start out with. It'll cost an arm and a leg to get back to speed, but even like a 2 or 4 health mega tank can still deal a lot with like light against light vehicles and stuff. So I feel like overall, even though he's down by 9 units currently, there was definitely an easy path for victory for my opponent here. Because he was about to flip this. I wasn't about to flip that. I was about to grab that. Well, next turn I could cap. Well, even with this guy join capping there, that doesn't matter. If he didn't, even if he didn't take it off a mega tank, which he could have. But yeah, I feel like overall this is basically a stalemate still. So maybe my opponent just didn't want to deal with this Sturm bullshit anymore, which I guess is understandable. Oh wait, this would actually be fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's the other thing that Sturm is decent about on this map is he can just send his subs are actually decent because they can go there, 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 and then they can start attacking into the harbor. So if there's like a battleship on this harbor, they can basically keep it stuck here. And the other really nice thing about Sturm on this map in particular is like, see, as you can see here, you've got the battleship just making it difficult for him to move in with his battleship, even though like it's not that much damage. But like if this guy's at 7 health, it does cut down on the amount that he's going to be doing back. So, but yeah, because he still has the good firepower compared to Sturm's. It's not exactly a one-on-one fight, but anyways. I feel like I definitely could have easily lost this one, but my opponent decided to just resign by default, so anyways. That's it for today. Well, not that quickly. Save the end card for a little bit, but yeah, next time is going to be, well, right now I'm actually caught up with my backlog, so the next one that you're going to be seeing is what happens with this match. So you can take a look at the game state, I guess. So I'm not sure exactly who's gonna win this one. I feel like it's a bit of a stalemate right now, but it's also a heavy naval one, which, like, it's teaching me a lot of stuff, but at the same time, I'm not really used to naval, so yeah, this is overall fine. Even though I gave away the subs location. Not that it matters. Yeah, no one's gonna care about the sub anyways. No one's gonna look, right? You guys won't tell him, right? Anyways, it's fine if you tell him. It's fine if he looks. It's fine. But yeah, I'm pretty close to 1200. So if I win this one, that'll be the end of this this season. If I lose this one, it'll probably be another couple of episodes to get up to 1200 finally. But either way, if you enjoyed, please go ahead and like and subscribe and all that other nonsense, and I will catch you guys in the next one. So goodbye for now.